Jake sat alone in his small home, watching the rain hit the window. The clock showed midnight. It was cold, and the wind made a sad sound outside. Jake felt lonely, as he always did, thinking about his empty life on Earth. Then he heard it. Soft knock. It was so light that at first he thought it was the wind. But the knock came again, a small, careful sound on the old wooden door. Jake stood up slowly. His heart started to beat faster. Who would knock at this hour, in this weather? He opened the door. There in the rain stood a small girl. She was not human. Her skin was pale blue, and her large green eyes glowed softly in the dark. She looked about 10 years old, wearing a thin, torn blanket around her small shoulders. Behind her stood a tall figure. A woman, also not human, with the same pale blue skin, but her eyes were tired, her shoulders shaking in the cold. She had metal bands on her wrists, broken, with wires hanging down. The little girl looked up at Jake with tears in her bright green eyes. "Please, human," she whispered in a small, broken voice. "We need shelter." Jake stood there frozen. Rain hit the girl's face, and she shivered. Her small hands were holding the blanket tightly. "My mom can clean," she said softly. "She can cook, she can obey." The words broke something inside Jake. He could see fear in her eyes, but also hope. She was so small, so weak, standing there in the dark. Jake looked around. The street was empty, only rain and shadows. He looked back at the girl. "Come in," he said, stepping aside. The girl looked at her mother, who nodded slowly. They stepped inside, dripping water onto the old floor. The woman looked down, not saying a word, holding the blanket around her daughter. Jake closed the door and locked it, his mind spinning. Who were they? Why were they here? The girl's eyes looked around the room. It was a simple place, a small kitchen, a couch, a table, and a bed in the corner. She smiled a little when she saw the warmth inside. "Thank you," she whispered. Jake gave them towels to dry themselves. The mother took the towel without looking at him, drying her daughter first, then herself. She still did not speak. "What's your name?" Jake asked the girl. The girl looked at him. "My name is Leary," she said. "My mom's name is Anna." Jake nodded, not knowing what to say. He could see that they were tired, hungry, and scared. He went to the kitchen and took out some bread and water, placing it on the table. Leary's eyes grew wide. She looked at her mother, who nodded. Leary took the bread with her small hands, eating slowly, as if afraid it would disappear. Jake watched them. So many questions came to his mind, but he stayed quiet. The only sound was the rain outside and the soft chewing of Leary. After a while, Leary looked up. "We ran away," she said softly. Jake's eyes met hers. "From who?" Leary looked at her mother, who finally spoke. Her voice was soft, like wind passing through leaves. "From people who owned us." Jake felt anger inside. "Owned you?" Anna nodded, her eyes looking empty. "We were workers on a colony far from here. We cleaned, cooked, and obeyed. But they hurt us. They hurt Leary." Jake's hands became fists. He looked at Leary, who was trying to smile, but tears came down her cheeks. "They will come for us," Leary whispered. "They always find us." Jake felt a chill. He did not know why he let them in, but he could not send them back outside. "Can stay here tonight," Jake said. Leary's eyes shone with hope. She ran to him and hugged him, her small arms cold but warm with gratitude. "Thank you, human," she said. Anna looked at Jake and nodded. "Thank you." That night, as Jake lay on his bed, he heard Anna quietly cleaning the kitchen, washing the dishes, and fixing a broken chair without being asked. Leary lay on the couch, sleeping peacefully for the first time in a long time. Jake looked at the ceiling, listening to the rain. He knew his life had changed the moment he opened the door. He did not know who would come for them or what danger was coming, but as he listened to Leary's soft breathing, he knew one thing. He would protect them. No matter what. Morning came with soft light through the old curtains. Jake woke up to the smell of warm food. It was a smell he had not felt in a long time, like hope and home mixed together. He got up and saw Enna in the small kitchen. She was standing quietly, her thin blue hands moving fast but gentle, cooking eggs and bread. The broken metal cuffs on her wrists clicked softly as she moved. She was careful, cleaning every spot as she worked. Leary sat at the table, her big green eyes watching her mother with a small smile. She looked different in the morning light, her skin glowing softly. Her hair still wet from the rain last night. Jake sat down, and Enna placed a warm plate in front of him. She did not speak, but she gave a small nod before stepping back. Folding her hands in front of her, Jake took a bite. The food was simple, but it felt like the best meal he had ever eaten. Leary watched him, waiting for his reaction. "It's good," Jake said. Leary's smile grew bigger, and she clapped her small hands. Enna's eyes softened, and she nodded again. After they ate, Jake washed the dishes, but Enna gently took them from him. "I will do this," she said softly, her voice like a song hidden in the wind. Jake let her. She moved around the small kitchen, cleaning and fixing small things as if she was made to care for every corner. Leary pulled Jake's hand, leading him to the small couch. She sat beside him, her small legs hanging, not touching the floor. "Will they come today?" she asked, her eyes looking worried. Jake looked at her, seeing the fear behind her glow. "Who are they, Leary?" Leary looked down. "The hunters. The ones who owned us. They have machines that track us. They say we are property." Jake felt anger rising in him. "You are not property." Leary looked up, hope shining in her eyes. "Promise?" Jake paused. He looked at Enna, who was quietly fixing the loose handle of a drawer, pretending not to listen, but he could see her shoulders shaking. "I promise," Jake said, his voice strong. Leary leaned against him, closing her eyes for a moment. "Thank you, human," she whispered. Later that day, Jake noticed how Enna moved around the house. She was not just cleaning. She was repairing small things that had been broken for years, an old lamp that now glowed again, a broken chair that now stood strong. Jake found her outside, in the small patch of dirt he called a garden. Enna was touching the soil, humming softly, her fingers pressing into the earth. Leary was beside her, watching. "What are you doing?" Jake asked. Enna looked up, her glowing eyes meeting his. "I am helping it grow." Jake looked down and saw a small green sprout pushing through the soil. It was bright, alive, and strong. "It will give fruit by morning," Enna said softly. Jake could not believe it. "How?" Enna looked at the sky. "On the colony, we learned to grow food fast. To feed the masters." Leary touched the sprout with a small smile. "Now it can feed us," she said. Jake felt something in his heart. A promise he did not know he could keep before. A promise that these two beings, who had come to him in the rain, would find safety. Here, that night, as the wind whispered outside, Jake heard Leary's small voice. "Human?" she called from the couch. Jake sat up. "Yes? Thank you for food. Thank you for warmth." Jake nodded, even though she could not see him in the dark. "My mom is scared," Leary whispered. "But she says you are kind. She says we will help you too." Jake did not understand. "Help me?" Leary was silent for a moment. Then she said, "My mom can fix things. She can grow food. She can make your home better. We will help you if you help us." Jake felt the weight of the promise he made in the morning. But he also felt something else, a reason to fight, a reason to protect. "I will help you," he said softly. "And you don't have to do anything for me to keep you safe." Leary's soft giggle came in the dark. "But we want to, because you are the first human who did not hurt us." As Jake lay back down, He heard Anna softly singing in a language he could not understand, a lullaby that made the cold night feel warm. Outside, in the dark street, a small red light blinked on a hidden sensor near Jake's gate, a tracking signal. The promise had been made. And now, the hunters would come. Jake was fixing the old fence when he noticed it. A black van, slow and silent, moved down the empty road. Its windows were dark, hiding the faces inside. It stopped for a moment in front of Jake's house, then slowly moved on like a shadow that refused to leave. Jake felt a chill. He looked back at the house where Leary was drawing small stars on a piece of paper with a broken pencil. Anna was inside, quietly cleaning the shelves, humming softly. The promise he made to protect them suddenly felt heavy, like a mountain on his shoulders. That night, Jake could not sleep. He stood near the window, watching the street. The rain had stopped, but the air smelled like metal. Leary woke up and came to him, holding her small blanket. "Human," she whispered. "Are you scared?" Jake looked down at her glowing green eyes. They were so innocent, yet so full of fear. "No," he lied. "I am watching to keep you safe." Leary hugged his leg, her small arms tight around him. "They will come," she said softly. "Who are they, Leary?" Jake asked gently. She looked up, her eyes reflecting the moonlight. "The hunters. They come in black vans. They have metal faces and red eyes. They take us back." Jake knelt down, holding her small hands. "They won't take you. I promised, remember?" Leary nodded, but Jake saw tears in her eyes. She wiped them quickly and went back to her blanket. Curling up on the couch. In the early morning, Jake saw Anna outside, touching a small plant that had grown overnight. It now had bright, blue fruit, glowing softly in the dawnlight. Anna picked one and gave it to Jake. "Eat. It will give you strength," she said softly. Jake took a bite. It was sweet, like warm sunlight, filling him with calm energy. Anna nodded and went back inside, her eyes scanning the street with quiet fear. Around noon, the black van returned. It stopped, and two figures stepped out. They wore dark suits with helmets that covered their faces, red lights blinking on their sides. Their boots made heavy sounds on the wet ground. Jake stepped outside, closing the door behind him. "Can I help you?" Jake asked, trying to keep his voice calm. The taller one turned to him, the red light on its helmet blinking. "We are looking for two escaped assets," it said in a cold, metal voice. "They are not yours to keep." Jake felt anger rising in him. "There's no one like that here," he lied. The second hunter stepped forward, scanning the area with a device that beeped softly. "They were tracked to this location," it said. Jake stood firm. "You need to leave." The taller hunter tilted its head. "You will be reported if you interfere." They turned, scanning the fence, the trees, the small garden. The device beeped louder when it pointed toward the house. Jake's heart pounded. He needed to protect them. Inside, Leary held Anna's hand tightly. "Mom, will they take us?" she whispered. Anna's eyes were calm, but her hands shook as she gently stroked Leary's hair. "No, my star, we will stay." The hunters moved toward the door, but Jake blocked their way. "Leave," he said. The taller hunter raised its hand, a small screen showing a picture of Anna and Leary in chains, with numbers and barcodes next to their faces. "These are not people," the hunter said coldly. "They are property." Jake's fists tightened. "They are not property. They are family now." The second hunter took a step forward, its hand moving toward a weapon on its side. "Step aside," it ordered. At that moment, the ground near the garden glowed. The small blue fruit on the plant shook, and the plant's glow spread across the soil. The hunter's devices beeped wildly, red lights flashing. "Biosignature detected," the taller hunter said. "Confirmed asset location." Jake stepped back slowly, his mind racing. He needed to protect them, But these hunters were armed, and he had nothing. Suddenly, the front door opened. Anna stepped out, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. Her broken metal cuffs sparked, and the wires on them moved like small snakes. "You will not take my daughter," Anna said, her voice calm but strong. The hunters aimed their weapons at her. Leary ran out and grabbed Jake's hand, hiding behind him. "Human," she whispered, "don't let them take us." Jake looked at Ina, then at the hunters, then at the small shaking hand in his own. He knew he had to act. Run inside now. Jake shouted. "Lir." I pulled Anna's hand, trying to drag her back inside. Anna looked at Jake, her eyes full of silent gratitude. Jake picked up a metal pipe lying near the fence. Holding it tightly as the hunters aimed at him, the promise Jake made was now a fight for survival. And as the red eyes of the hunters glowed in the dark, Jake stood ready to protect the small alien girl and her mother. No matter what. Asterisk the hunters. Red eyes glowed brighter as they pointed their weapons at Jake. The black van hummed, ready to open and drag Ina and Leary back into chains. Jake's hands shook as he gripped the metal pipe, but he stood between the hunters and the door. Inside, Leary pulled Anna's hand. "Mom, please, let's hide," she whispered, tears in her glowing eyes. Anna looked down at her daughter, her face calm but sad. "No, my star," she whispered, "I will not run anymore." Outside, the taller hunter stepped forward. "You will step aside, human. This does not concern you." Jake's eyes were full of anger. "They are my family now. You will not take them." The hunter raised its weapon, a small red light blinking on the barrel. "Last warning." Jake's mind raced. He was just a man with a pipe, standing against machines with guns. But he remembered Leary's tiny hand holding his, whispering, "Promise?" He had made a promise. Suddenly, Ina stepped out of the door. The hunters turned, their weapons toward her. Anna raised her hands. The broken cuffs on her wrists began to glow, the wires moving like they were alive, lighting up with blue energy. "Leave," Anna said softly, but her voice was filled with power. The hunters scanned her quickly. Unauthorized energy source detected. "Prepare to capture." The taller hunter fired. A beam of red light shot toward Anna, but before it could touch her, the wires on her cuffs snapped forward, creating a blue shield in front of her. The beam hit the shield and vanished. Jake stared in shock. Leary ran to the doorway screaming, "Mom!" Anna's eyes glowed bright blue now, lighting up the dark morning. "You made us slaves," she said, her voice echoing strangely. "You made us cook and clean. You hurt us. You hurt my child." The wires snapped again, sending blue sparks across the yard. The hunters fired again, but the blue shield held, the energy reflecting off it like rain on glass. Anna stepped forward, her feet leaving small glowing prints on the wet ground. Her cuffs were no longer broken. They were alive, protecting her, feeding on her quiet anger. Jake saw the second hunter aiming for Leary. "No!" Jake shouted, swinging the metal pipe. The pipe hit the hunter's arm, knocking the weapon aside. Sparks flew, and the hunter turned, its red eyes toward Jake. The hunter punched Jake in the chest, sending him crashing to the ground. Pain shot through his body, but he saw Leary screaming as the hunter reached for her. Before the hunter could grab Leary, Anna's wires shot forward, wrapping around the hunter's arm and pulling it back with shocking force. The hunter struggled, but Anna's eyes glowed brighter and the wires tightened, crushing the hunter's arm. Metal bent and cracked under the blue energy. With a final spark, the hunter's arm broke off, falling to the ground with a heavy thud. The taller hunter turned, trying to fire at Anna again, but Anna raised her hand. The wires lashed out, wrapping around the hunter's legs, pulling it down to the ground. The hunters struggled, their red eyes blinking wildly. Anna's voice was soft but cold. "You will not hurt us again." With a wave of her hand, the wires sparked and sent a blue pulse through the hunters. Their red eyes flickered and went dark as their systems shut down. The black van's lights dimmed, and the engines died. Leary ran to Enna, hugging her tightly. "Mom, you did it! You stopped them!" Enna fell to her knees, holding Leary close. The glow in her eyes softened, tears mixing with the blue light. Jake slowly stood up, clutching his ribs, watching them. Enna looked up at him, her eyes full of sadness and strength. "I did not want to show this power," Enna said softly. "I wanted to be free, to be normal." Jake walked over, placing a hand on Enna's shoulder. "You protected your child. You protected us." Leary looked at Jake, tears in her bright eyes. "Human, we are sorry. We did not want to bring danger." Jake shook his head. "You did not bring danger. They did." Together, they dragged the broken hunters to the black van, pushing them inside. Enna touched the van, sending a spark into it, and the van powered up, driving itself away into the forest, taking the hunters far from them. As the sun rose, the small yard was quiet again. The birds began to sing, and the blue fruit on the plant glowed in the light. Jake looked at Enna and Leary. "They will send more, won't they?" Enna nodded, holding Leary's hand. "Yes, but now they will know we can fight back." Leary looked at the sunrise, then at Jake. "You kept your promise," she said softly. Jake smiled, despite the pain in his chest. "And I will keep it again." They stood together under the rising sun, knowing the hunters would come again. But now they were ready to fight for their freedom together. After the hunters were gone, the world felt quiet again. But it was a different quiet. It was the quiet of fear and hope, mixed together like the morning mist. Jake fixed a small table outside, and Enna placed the glowing blue fruit on it. The fruit shone in the soft morning light, reminding them of the fight they had survived. Leary sat on the steps, hugging her knees. She was watching Jake, her big green eyes thoughtful. "Are you hurt?" she asked softly. Jake touched the bruise on his chest and smiled. "A little, but I'm okay." Leary's eyes lowered, and she whispered, "I'm sorry they hurt you." Jake knelt in front of her, lifting her chin so she would look at him. "Hey, I would get hurt again if it means keeping you safe." Leary's eyes filled with tears, but she wiped them away quickly and nodded. Inside the small house, Enna moved quietly. She was not just cleaning now. She was fixing. She touched the old walls, and small cracks disappeared under her fingers. She placed her hands on broken wires, and lights that hadn't worked in years came alive. Jake watched her in amazement. "You can fix anything." Enna looked at him with soft, glowing eyes. "They made us to repair, to clean, to serve. We were made to obey." Jake frowned. "You don't have to obey anymore." Enna was silent for a moment, her eyes sad. "I don't know what else to do." Later, Leary brought a piece of paper to Jake. She had drawn their small family, Jake, Enna, and herself, all standing under a big tree with stars above them. "I want this," she said softly, pointing to the stars. "I want us to be together." Jake's heart tightened. "We will be," he promised. In the evening, they sat together outside. Enna cooked food from the blue fruit, mixing it with herbs from the garden. The food glowed softly, and the taste was warm, like hope. Leary giggled as she ate, the glow lighting up her small face. For the first time, Jake saw her as a child, not as a scared alien hiding in the dark. Enna watched her daughter, a soft smile on her lips. She looked at Jake. "She hasn't laughed like this in a long time." Jake nodded, his eyes soft. "She deserves to laugh every day." That night, Leary sat with Jake under the stars. "Can I ask something?" she whispered. "Of course." "Why did you help us? You could have sent us away." Jake looked up at the sky, thinking of his quiet, lonely days before they knocked on his door. "Because no one should have to live in fear," he said softly. "Because I was alone before you came, now I am not." Leary smiled, resting her head on his arm. "You're like a dad." Jake's eyes filled with tears, but he quickly blinked them away. "And you're like a daughter to me." Inside, Anna was humming softly, fixing a broken toy she found in the old drawer for Leary. Her hands moved carefully, the wires on her cuffs glowing softly. She paused, looking at the small toy, a wooden bird, now flapping its tiny wings again. Anna whispered to herself, "Maybe this is freedom." That night, a cold wind blew outside. Leary woke up from a nightmare, tears on her cheeks. She ran to Anna, who hugged her tightly. "It's okay, my star," Anna whispered. Jake came and knelt beside them. "Bad dream?" Leary nodded, sobbing. "They were taking us again." Jake placed a hand on her head. "They won't, I promise." Leary hugged Jake and Anna together, burying her face between them. At that moment, under the soft glow of the small lamp Anna fixed, they became a family. But outside, in the dark, a small blinking light on the ground came alive. The hunters had left a tracker hidden under the soil. A red light blinked once, twice, and sent a silent signal to the stars. The family inside did not know. They were too busy feeling the warmth they had found in each other. As Leary fell asleep in Anna's arms, Jake sat by the window, watching the stars. "Thank you, Jake," Anna said softly from the couch. "For what?" Jake asked. "For treating us like people." Jake turned, his eyes meeting Anna's glowing blue eyes. "You are people." Anna closed her eyes, holding Leary closer. "Then maybe we can learn how to live like people too." In the quiet of the night, a soft wind moved the small blue leaves in the garden, and the stars above seemed to shine a little brighter. They did not know what tomorrow would bring, but for tonight, they were safe. They were together. And they were a family. The morning was quiet, too quiet. Jake opened the door to water the small glowing plants in the garden, but he felt it in the air, a heaviness, like the sky was holding its breath. Inside, Leary was drawing stars again, humming softly, her small feet swinging under the table. Anna was fixing the old heater, her glowing blue hands moving carefully. Jake watched them, feeling something warm in his chest. They looked so normal, so peaceful, like a family. But deep inside, he knew it would not last. That night, as the moon climbed high, Anna stood by the window, staring at the dark road. "They are coming, aren't they?" Jake asked quietly. Anna nodded, not turning. "They never give up. They will come with more hunters, with bigger machines." Jake felt anger rising. "You and Leary deserve to live in peace." Anna turned to him, her eyes glowing softly. "That is why we must leave before they arrive." They sat around the small table, a single candle lighting their faces. Leary held Anna's hand tightly, looking at Jake. "Leave? But where will we go?" Jake asked. Anna placed a small device on the table. It looked like a silver seed, pulsing with soft blue light. "This will hide our biosignature for a short time. Enough to leave this place and find a safer home." Leary looked at Jake with tears in her green eyes. "Will you come with us?" Jake froze, looking at the small family he had grown to love. The walls of his lonely home felt smaller now, empty, without their laughter and soft voices. "Yes," he said finally. "I will come with you." They spent the night preparing. Anna packed small blue fruits from the garden, wrapping them in soft cloth. Leary packed her drawings, carefully folding each paper. Jake loaded a small bag with water, tools, and an old photo of his parents. It was all he had left of his past, but now he was ready to build a new future. Before dawn, they stepped outside. The world was silent, the stars watching them from above. Anna pressed the silver seed, and it glowed brighter, sending out a soft blue wave that spread across the yard. "For now, they cannot find us," Anna said softly. I held Jake's hand, looking up at him. "Are you scared?" Jake smiled down at her. "A little." Leary squeezed his hand. "Me too." They walked quietly down the empty road, leaving the small house behind. Jake looked back once, seeing the dark shape of the home that had once been his prison of loneliness, now a memory of family. He turned away, walking into the unknown with Enna and Liri. As they reached the edge of the forest, a soft hum filled the air. Enna stopped, her eyes narrowing. They are here. From the dark road behind them, lights appeared, red, cold, and unblinking. Vehicles moved silently, black shapes rolling like shadows. They found us, Jake whispered. No, Enna said. They found where we were. She pressed the seat again, and the glow spread around them, bending the light, hiding them from sight. Run, Enna whispered. They moved into the forest, their feet quiet on the wet leaves. Behind them, the black vehicle stopped at the house, scanning it with bright lights, sending red lasers across the walls. Jake held Liri's hand tightly as they moved deeper into the trees. After what felt like hours, they reached a small clearing. The moonlight fell softly, lighting Enna's glowing eyes. We will rest here, Enna said. Liri sat on the ground, breathing hard, but she tried to smile. We are safe now. For now, Enna said softly, brushing Liri's hair back. Jake looked at Enna. How long will the seed hide us? Enna was quiet. Until morning. Jake sat beside Liri, who leaned against him, tired but calm. Thank you for coming with us, Liri whispered. Jake smiled, looking up at the stars. Thank you for giving me a reason to fight. Enna sat across from them, holding the silver seed in her hands. It was growing dimmer, its glow fading with each pulse. They will keep hunting us, Enna said softly. Jake nodded. Then we will keep running. Together. Enna looked at him, her eyes soft. Together. In the quiet of the night, Liri fell asleep against Jake, her small hand clutching one of her star drawings. Enna watched them, a single tear falling from her glowing eye. For the first time, she allowed herself to feel hope. As the seed's light flickered, the forest felt alive with whispers, like the world was holding its breath for them. They did not know where they would go next. They did not know what dangers would come with the sunrise. But in that moment, under the watchful stars, they had each other, and that was enough. The seed's glow finally faded as dawn broke, leaving only silence in the forest. Jake opened his eyes to see Liri sleeping against his arm, clutching her drawing of them under the stars. Enna was already awake, sitting quietly, watching the horizon, where the first light touched the trees. Today, Enna whispered, we choose. They ate the last of the glowing blue fruit, its warmth giving them strength. Liri held Enna's hand as they walked deeper into the forest, the leaves wet under their feet. Where will we go? Liri asked softly. Enna looked down, brushing Liri's hair back gently. Where we can be free. Jake walked beside them, gripping the small metal pipe he had kept since the fight with the hunters. It was old, dented, but it reminded him he was not powerless. They reached a hilltop as the sun rose fully, painting the sky with gold. From there, they could see the fields beyond the forest, empty roads leading toward the distant mountains. But the moment felt heavy. The air shifted, a low hum vibrated under their feet. From the sky, dark shapes appeared, hunter ships, black and silent, floating down like shadows. Liri's small hand tightened around Jake's. They found us. Enna's eyes glowed softly, calm but sad. They always do. The ships landed, and armored hunters stepped out, their red eyes scanning the forest. A voice came from the largest ship, cold and sharp. Return the assets. This is your final warning. Jake stepped in front of Enna and Liri, his heart pounding, his breath quick. No, he said. The hunters raised their weapons, red lights blinking. Enna stepped forward, pulling Liri behind her. Liri, listen to me, Enna said softly, kneeling in front of her. No matter what happens, remember you are not property, you are my star. Liri's eyes filled with tears. But Mom, Enna touched her forehead. Live free, Liri. The hunters fired, Anna raised her hands, the wires on her broken cuffs sparking with blue energy, creating a shield around Jake and Leary. The beams hit the shield, making it crackle and shake. "Run!" Anna shouted. Jake grabbed Leary, pulling her back. "Mom!" Leary screamed. Anna's eyes glowed brighter as she held the shield, her voice calm. "Run, Leary." Jake carried Leary down the hill through the trees, as the sounds of energy beams and sparks filled the air. "Put me down. We have to help her." Leary screamed, hitting Jake's shoulder with her small fists. Tears fell down Jake's face. "We will, Leary, we will." They hid behind a fallen tree, watching as Anna stood alone against the hunters. Anna's shield finally cracked, and the hunters stepped closer, aiming at her. But Anna smiled softly, lifting her hands higher. "Freedom," she whispered. The wires around her cuffs glowed blindingly bright, and a pulse of blue light exploded outward, knocking the hunters and their ships to the ground. The light spread across the forest, shaking the earth, and then faded into a quiet wind. Smoke rose from the hilltop. The hunters were on the ground, their red eyes dark, their weapons broken. The ships lay tilted, silent, and Anna stood there, breathing hard, her glow fading. Jake and Leary ran to her. Leary threw herself into Anna's arms, sobbing. "Mom, you did it!" Anna fell to her knees, hugging Leary tightly. "We did it, my star." Jake knelt beside them, placing a hand on Anna's shoulder. "You chose freedom." Anna looked up, her eyes tired but alive. "We all did." The wind moved gently through the broken trees as the sun climbed higher, warming their faces. Leary wiped her tears, looking up at Jake. "What do we do now?" Jake smiled softly. "Now we live." They searched the wreckage of the ships and found food, water, and tools. Anna used parts from the hunters' machines to build a small device, hiding their presence from any signals. For the first time, they felt safe. At night, they sat under the stars, the soft glow of Anna's new device lighting their small camp. Leary drew a new picture. Anna, Jake, and herself, standing under the stars, the word family written above them. She handed it to Jake. "We are a family now, right?" Jake nodded, tears in his eyes. "Yes, Leary, we are." Anna looked at the stars, holding Leary's hand. "I don't know what tomorrow will bring," Anna said softly. Jake smiled, looking at the stars with them. "Whatever it brings, we will face it together." The hunters would come again someday. The world would remain dangerous, but for tonight, they were free. They had chosen each other. And under the quiet stars, a human, an alien mother, and her daughter began their new life as a family, free, together, and ready to protect each other, no matter what.